Batman Begins. Well, it has been 20 years since Batman Begins. I'll be definitely doing some celebration stuff when it gets closer. The reason I'm even doing this review is because, firstly, I never really did an official review for Batman Begins. And also, I grabbed this amazing cowl. Now, they're doing these in life size versions, and Todd McFarlane has been doing them in the smaller versions. And I grabbed this and I was very excited. I always thought this cowl was really neat. I kind of like Michael Keaton's the best. Um, but this one always really spoke to me. And what happened was that I noticed that it said 2005. And I thought, what, Todd, you made a mistake. It's not, this movie didn't come out in 2005. Yeah, it came out in 2005. And where has the time gone? It's crazy to think that it's been 20 years. My goodness. Well, so Batman and Robin, of course, had come out, and nobody liked it. I actually do like it, and I think it's very fun, and it's Silver Age inspirations. Obviously, the Batman '66 inspiration. I think a lot of that was also in Batman Forever, though maybe it was hidden for some viewers. But definitely, I saw the Frank Gorshin Riddler in Jim Carrey, the goofiness of Two-Face, who just keeps flipping the coin. It's like, defeats the purpose of it. Clearly, Batman and Robin was a failure, and a lot of people thought it was the wrong Batman movie for the time, even though I think Batman Forever already started doing a lot of the kooky, weird, bad comedy stuff that then just, plagued Batman and Robin. But I love all of the Batman material, all the stuff for different reasons. Batman's a very versatile character. My favorite character is Superman, but Batman is my second favorite character. I think he's very versatile. You can even see my background here with all the little different versions of him. Anyway, so Batman Begins came out, and I saw it 3 times in the theater, so you know where this review is going. I am going to swap to my space background here, and I am going to do a space review on it. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can be because I really do love this movie. It's definitely top 3 Batman movies, and if we're not counting The Mask, The Phantasm, which is for sure the best theatrical released film, because I even love the Adam West movie as well. Obviously, you guys know I've been doing the Adam West stuff, and you can see this backdrop is the Adam West Batcave. To me, that's sort of like Batman Prime. You know what I mean? That was exactly the Silver Age comics, and I love that show. But this movie really got me pumped. We never really had a proper origin for Batman. We sort of had flashback origins, and people always thought, well, you don't need a Batman origin. It's obvious he trains, and that's the end of it. The focus was always like the villains. Who are the villains going to be? And let's see their origin and that kind of a thing. And I think this movie did the right thing big time. I think Christopher Nolan really did this perfectly, which is, let's call it Batman Begins, and we're going to start over. And I think this movie has been definitely, the tone and everything's been copied so many times. I even think this is actually better than The Dark Knight for me. This is your definitive Batman origin, in my opinion. If you're going to look to the live action films, I think this is much, much, much way better than The Batman. To me, I can say that I love Batman '89. It's probably like my kind of favorite. That and Batman Returns, those two together, and in some senses, I actually like Batman Returns better than '89. But both those movies to me are just equally awesome, and they're kind of my favorites. But if I put on my kind of Batman / film cap and think, what is the best Batman movie for Batman, because Batman's not really that big of a character in those other movies. He's definitely important. Obviously, it's his movie, but it's not really about him and his ideas and stuff. And this movie is. So I think this kind of trumps all of those other ones. So for the storyline, I'm going to give it a perfect score of 2 out of 2 because I think this really was cool. Batman becoming a ninja. I mean, everybody on the planet wants to go to this big temple, in like an undisclosed I don't think they ever say where it's from. Um, and you meet Raz Al Ghul, and he trains you, and oh my goodness, and now you're this ninja, and you can do all these cool things. You can disappear, and you got cool knives and stuff. Obviously, that as an action fan standpoint is really neat. And it's about 1 hour and 10 minutes before Batman really starts doing things. It's literally half the movie is this origin. But through this origin, we learn why he chooses to be Batman, the creation of all of his gadgets, the acquiring of sort of the Batmobile, which is the tumbler. And we can talk about that. You got Lucius Fox, you have Alfred. They have Rachel Dawes in there as a additional character, and I actually think she serves a good purpose here. I like the theme where he says it's not who I appear to be, it's what my actions, that is what defines me. And I actually like that, because a lot of times people say, well, it's who you are inside. It's like, well, it's who you are inside to yourself, but not really who you are inside to the people around you. Your actions count for something. I love how Alfred says, and we can throw this in with the character section, but how Alfred says, it's like, it's a good name. Don't ignore the Bruce Wayne, like the Wayne name. It's a good name. It's the memory of your parents. It's an important name in Gotham, so don't tarnish that just because you want to be Batman now. Great. That's great stuff too. The pacing, I'll give it a 1.5. I'm trying to be a bit critical here. I love this movie, so you can take away that I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because I'm going to try to be somewhat objective. It is slightly longer than it needs to be for the story that it's telling, but not by much. If I was doing in 25 increments, I would give this a 1.75. But I'm not getting that mathematical on these reviews. So 1.5 for the pacing. It could be tightened up a little bit, get to Batman a little bit quicker. The artistry, and I went back and forth with this between a 2 perfect score or a 1.5. I'm going to go to 2, but with an asterisk. So you're going to have to take a little bit of a disclaimer. It's not enough for me to not like the movie, but all of the shots are great. I really liked the ad campaign as well. Not that counts for the movie, but that sort of that yellowish orange, gold, bronze, I guess bronze, the posters and all that stuff. It really looked good to me. I thought this looks really neat. I like what they're doing with this Batman here. It's really cool. I do like the costume. I wish that it was slightly darker in the cowl, and because the cape sometimes I have this on 4K, and the cape sometimes looks darker than the cowl, and I wish the whole thing was black. I don't mind if it's like a muted black for your chest, and then that would give you the sort of black and gray kind of appearance of Batman. Blue, this is the real Batman to me. This is on my shelf here, never going away. That, to me, that is the coolest. That is the real Batman, Jim Aparo, right? That is the real Batman. But I accept that we have the black and gray version, and I do accept that we have the full black version now in the films. And I do think this suit is really cool. I might like the suit better than Dark Knight as well. The music is friggin' awesome. That's for damn sure. I actually think the Scarecrow parts when he pumps the fear gas looks pretty freaky, and Batman's got that he looks like a new thing, and then he's flying around, looks like a demon flying around. That's nice. I like all of the gadgets. Everything looks good. Okay, so my asterisk point is that some of the fighting doesn't look as good. It's a bit fast, and I think it's fast not because they're trying to not show you the fighting. It's because Batman is a ninja, and they want him to appear that he's everywhere and he's scary, and the criminals are actually scared of him. One of the big negatives for the Batman is where Robert Pattinson is walking around and literally knocking on doors, and he's walking around normally. And the excuse of that is that, well, it's year 2. Yeah, but he's supposed to be a ninja. I don't think it's very fearful if you see the person walking. Like, he's a tough guy and you can't hurt him, but you see him. It's much better when Batman is like, where is he? In that great part where Scarecrow's like, he's here. What? He's here. The Batman, like, oh, So I'm still giving it a 2 out of 2 because I understand the reasoning for the quick edits on the fights. The characters, I'm also going to give it 2 out of 2. And the enjoyment factor is also going to be a 2 out of 2. So I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10, even though you could just say it's a 10 out of 10. And this is me being critical because I really can't find much faults in this movie. I think it's really good. The pacing could have been tighter. No Batman movie needs to be more than 2 hours. I don't care, period. 2 hours is maximum for Batman, for sure. To swing back to the characters for a moment, Christian Bale's awesome in this, definitely amazing. This is one of the instances where I think that as Batman, he's really good. He doesn't have the super comical, like hyper deep voice, or he doesn't. That's a little bit there, but not fully. I think he's good as Bruce Wayne because he's actually playing 3 different roles in this movie. This is kind of the first Batman where all 3 roles are defined better than in the other movies. So one, of course, is Batman himself being in the costume. And then there's the Bruce Wayne public appearance, and then there's the Bruce Wayne private appearance. So you've got 3, public, private, and Batman, and he does amazing in all 3 roles. I really like Alfred a lot in this one. Of course, Michael Caine is a great actor, but I like the character. I like Lucius Fox a lot in this one. Great casting for Morgan Freeman. I like Katie Holmes. I kind of like Katie Holmes better than Maggie Gyllenhaal actually as well. I liked her in this, and I'm not a Katie Holmes fan at all, but I think she did very good in this, and I like the message. Villains. Liam Neeson is awesome. Again, I could put an asterisk next to the character section and say, well, it's not really Ra's al Ghul. It's kind of, League of Shadows and all that. There's no Lazarus Pit, which is important. So there's a few aspects of the movie. No movie is really perfect. So even if I give a 10, it doesn't say it's perfect. It's just saying that it's a great representation. The way I look at it is that you go to watch Batman Begins, you want a good story, you want good acting, you want a exciting conclusion, you want to see Batman fight guys, and I think you get all of that. Plus, you get the ninja training, which is really sick. I thought Ra's al Ghul was cool. We knew it was him. You could see by his beard. I'm gonna get the Ra's al Ghul beard. I'm gonna do that. You could tell by his beard that was him. And I know Ken Watanabe, they tried to give that red herring of, oh, he's that, but it played into the story. It wasn't there just to fool the audience. It did play into the aspects of the story of saying, well, what is Ra's al Ghul? It's like, oh, it was you. Oh, it's like, is he an idea? Is he more than that? That kind of stuff was neat. Scarecrow, Zaz, I think is mentioned. Who else would we get? Falcone. Who else did we get in this movie? Joe Chill. Was this the first time we've had proper Joe Chill? Yeah, I think it is. He was good. I like Falcone. I like Scarecrow. I thought Cillian Murphy was creepy and weird. He doesn't really have the full Scarecrow outfit till the end, but the mask was creepy and he looked cool and he had the fear gas. I like that. I like the plan of pumping the gas through and just making everyone go crazy. And I love that Crane, who's not a member of the League of Shadows, just thought, well, I'm doing this for ransom and for money, and I'm just crazy anyways. And it's like, no, we're destroying everything. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10. This is really a 10 out of 10 movie. I am never bored during this movie. I think the pacing is kind of fine, but I think once a movie crosses 2 hours, the rewatchability factor drops heavily. The closer you approach to 2 hours, the less amount of time I can watch. And I do think some of it's a little bit long. And I do think getting into the whole of like, how did we build the cowls? How did we do this? That's great. Maybe trim it a little bit. Do I like the Bat Tank? No. Batman 89's Batmobile is clearly the best Batmobile, obviously. There's no question there. But it is cool. I understand it's a little bit of Dark Knight Returns stuff in there. A little bit of Year One stuff in there. Commissioner Gordon, I forgot to mention him as one of the characters. He's absolutely great in this. Gary Oldman is fantastic. Stellar cast. So yeah, characters were 2 out of 2 already. Anyway, that's my review of Batman Begins. Let me know what you thought. And I gotta say something too, just randomly, that I'm a little bit kind of on this like whole recency bias. Like anything new that comes out is automatically labeled as best. Oh, the Batman is the best one. I'm like, really? Because I heard for years and years and years that The Dark Knight was the best Batman movie. Now, I don't agree that The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie. I think this is better than The Dark Knight, but I agree that Joker is awesome, and I agree that that movie is still really damn good, and I've seen that a bunch of times too. So, and I will review that as well. But definitely, Batman Begins. If you comment saying Batman Begins is the best Batman movie, not counting Mask of the Phantasm, best live action Batman movie, I'm not going to argue that. My favorites are definitely the two Michael Keaton movies because I just love those. The Adam West one, I almost count as a TV movie. I know it was in theaters, but it was more of a TV thing. But I love that movie as well. And nobody says Adam West sucks around me, okay? And not in this house, I'll tell you that much. But if you have to pick your definitive Batman movie for Batman, for his character, you got to go with Batman Begins, man. It's awesome. Love it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.